答えは常に塔の上にある。
間に合う。間に合ったな。アリーナに売店ぐらいあるよな。
After school.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Webtoon segment of the podcast here. We got some great stuff to talk about, but before we get into the good stuff, we got to talk about the unfortunate stuff, man. Last episode I mentioned the Noblesse anime was going to premiere this week. And so episode 1 came out, I checked it out, and as soon as it started playing, I wanted to pause it and just walk away, and I'm just thinking, God damn it, Crunchyroll, you're doing it again, man. This is the third webtoon I think they've adapted in a row, and I don't know what they're doing, man. Like I checked out the episode and I looked, and I was like, what's even going on? Skimming through the episode, I was like, oh, I know exactly where this is. Let me backtrack, double check what chapter this is, and sure enough, yeah, it doesn't start at chapter 1. The anime is starting at chapter 92. That's crazy, man. It's pretty crazy. At that point in the series, because, you know, it's like over 500 chapters long, that's when the action starts to become more important in the series. Because in the beginning, it was kind of like more of a gag series with our main character, Raziel, just, you know, trying to figure out like what's going on in the modern world and hanging out with high schoolers. And then it slowly crept in like the action and what's really going on behind the scenes. And then it wasn't until after chapter 92 is when like we started getting more world building and all the cool characters that show up that, you know, become a regular cast later down the line. So I can understand that part, but at the same time, I thought all of it was prime material for anime in the beginning. You know, all the humor and all that. I feel like that would have been fine to have. It would have been a fun slice of life series until, you know, the finale could have been all the action stuff.
Like a Hitman Reborn, like season 1 and season 2 of Hitman Reborn, I think it was. And then like from then on, it like got really anime.
Yeah, it wasn't as goofy as what Hitman did, but yeah, no, definitely it did the same thing. And, you know, a lot of it is kind of just stuff you can really cut out because it's just like, oh, Raziel wants to eat ramen because he never had that before, or he wants to go to the PC rooms, right, and go play some games, and just a bunch of stuff like that, and then sprinkled out the other plot in there. That could have been just one season, and then season 2 could have been all the intense stuff, but I guess that's how they want to do it. I guess I'll keep an eye on it just to see how different things go. Hopefully it's not as bad as the God of High School one. But, you know, it's crazy when I went to go look at the chapters on Webtoon itself. I was talking to you about it, Oscar. It's probably because the anime is out, but they locked all the chapters except for the first 50 for Noblesse on the Webtoon. Yeah, and like you have to unlock them with the coins, right? The daily passes. So that sucks because I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be free for the most part because that series ended, I think, last year.
Yeah, I remember when you told me about it, like right before they started promoting Noblesse, I checked it out on the app and it had all 500 chapters available. Like everything was already available for you to do. And then, like from then on, it's just like you said, like they like cut part of it off and then they can't go back into it. And then you have to like wait. What is it? Daily passes, right? So like you have to wait day by day that shit to be released. Not even like a coin thing.
Yeah, but I guess the best part for it, I guess the good side of it is you do get 5 free every day. So I guess that would be 5 chapters a day you could read.
You have to wait 100 days to get the full series.
Just to get the rest, yeah.
So that's basically like 3 months of casual reading, which I guess, you know, in a sense, like if apps, you know, care about usage or, you know, user usage, then that's a good thing because that means you'll be on the hook for at least, you know, a quarter of the year before they need to find the next thing to keep you entertained.
Yeah, if it's like screen time they want you to focus on, then that is the best choice, like you're saying, yeah. I read the series and there's a lot of good stuff in there in like the middle section. It gets pretty good. The ending is pretty anime. Like it just keeps building bigger and bigger for the bad guys. So it is what it is right there. But yeah, I do recommend Noblesse to check out. Definitely read it. Some good stuff. But yeah, all the real action stuff right now for the manhwa is locked behind the daily passes. So you're gonna have to wait like a couple weeks before you even get to where the anime is.
Approximately 3 months. Let's be honest. You're gonna wait 3 months before you get the whole series.
Unless you just want to skip around and get straight into the action, then yeah, start at chapter 92 because that's what the anime is doing. Yeah, that's Noblesse. It is what it is. Still no tower news, so we're just waiting patiently as always. I think this the OST should be out digitally soon, right, Adam?
It drops. Yeah, it drops pretty soon. I think this coming week, actually, the 13th or the 14th, it drops.
Oh, nice, cool. All right, man. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this episode here. We're starting off, of course, with God of High School, chapters 176 to 216. And this is the consolation match for, I guess, the last minute entries to enter the actual world tournament.
Yeah, all entries, basically.
Oh, was it all entries? Okay.
Anybody who didn't qualify beforehand or disqualified or...
Oh, right. And, the one biggest part for this whole thing is that Morijin's not here, but it's his clone. And he really gets to shine in this arc. We really get to see pretty much how different he is from the regular Mori.
I'll be honest, at first I wasn't feeling Mori Huey.
Yeah.
But after this arc, I'm like, you know what, man? You fuck, dude. You're pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys checked the comments at the end of the chapters. I would just take a glance before I read the next one. And for a long time, a lot of people just didn't like Morihyu. They were just saying, like, when's Morijin coming back? We just want to see him come back. I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree. I want to see the boy again. But, like, man, Morihyu's doing some work here, though. I think it was like towards the end of this arc where people were actually starting to like him and how different he is from Morijin.
Basically, only when he starts putting in, like, action. Like, when they start, I think, what is it, when they... King, was it? Or no, it was the other Monkey King. And he has, like, pulled out these, like, copycat moves. Like, what was it? Like, Mira's moves and Kusanagi's moves. Mm-hmm. He does, like, his own original, but not before remembering how to do the Taehook. Huchek? I don't know what
Korean?
Yeah, I said this when I was reading it, Oscar. But I do like his original stuff. But, man, big One Piece Gum Gatling vibes, dude. But it was so good, man. No, like I said, I really wasn't feeling him, but just seeing that whole transformation that he did of being like, hey, I want to be my own person, I don't want to just be a clone, because that was just a recurring thing for him. And for him to like really sit on his own and do what he did, fuck yeah. I love the boy now. I don't want him to go away.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with him once Morijin comes back. Because I'm sure Mori will probably absorb him, or maybe he'll just go his own direction. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
See, I was thinking, what if he does absorb him? Like, does he retain all those memories, or what happens to him?
I know. Is it some like Kagebushin, no bullshit?
Exactly.
So one of the theories that I had was, they mentioned the issue with the Cane of the Sages.
Mm-hmm.
And at the instantaneous moment that he opened it the first time when he was trying to pull back Yiplo, at that time, he had a connection with Morijin. He had like lost his ability to use his powers for a second, right? And he like pretty much couldn't do anything for a good 1 or 2 chapters. And at that time, it really had me thinking, what if this is like the way of like diffusing the souls between the two? We're not like diffusing the souls because we know the Monkey King is Morijin, but like, what if like the personality Morijin split off from the Monkey King? Because he used to have his own personality, remember? And like, he has those little moments where he talks to himself. Remember, he was like basically reprimanding him the first time because he was a terrible king. Right. So I feel like those personalities are really strong willed, so they don't just die off,
Okay.
Like, it has to stick around. I think that maybe he diffused his personality, and Morijin is like what Morijin would have been like if he like didn't grow up to be a genuine fighter. If he would have actually like went to school and like did all this other shit, and like, that's just like where his intelligence is at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but it's like his personality is just stemming from the fact that he is in fact empty. He's a clone and he doesn't really have like any place to belong. That's kind of how I always saw his personality. So like that in turn is the only thing that really matched from the get-go, was like the way his personality stemmed out to be.
Yeah, and for a while it looked like they were teasing that, no, yeah, he is going to become the real Morihjin. Daiwei mentioned it before. He's like, well, if he dies, are you going to disappear or are you just going to become Mori? There was those, in his mind, I guess, he was sort of linking with Morihjin in the other world. And he was just telling him like, oh, you have to remember these techniques and all that. And for me, it felt like they were showing like, oh, maybe, yeah, he is going to just become the next Mori, kind of like how, you know, when the original Mori died and then he reincarnated and he had the Guardian, which was like the beast form. And then we just had like the Mori trapped in the crystal. Maybe it's something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like the fact that at the back half of this arc, we saw Morihjin doing his own thing, I think stems like, oh no, that just means he's going to come back. Also, it was interesting to see like, his eyes are red now.
Yeah, I did notice that. Both of their eyes are red, aren't they?
When Morihyu transforms into Sun Wukong form, yeah, they turn red.
What are they otherwise? They're like orange, right?
Normally they're orange, but then when he transforms, they're blue. But now
it might be
red.
like another power-up form. That's what I was thinking it was. I mean, besides the whole Sharingan thing, but no, I thought that he had achieved like a different form of his power.
Yeah, maybe
Super Saiyan Blue.
Maybe, yeah, regaining his energy or his memories back. Probably like buffed him up or something. So yeah, this sort of battle royale tournament, I liked it. It was definitely a different take on a tournament that we've seen from the series so far, which was good, and a lot of interesting people showing up here. And I was like, oh, cool, we're actually getting some more interesting borrowed powers. Right, one to note was the boy Alex with Alexander the Great as his borrowed power. That was cool. Seeing the boy Bruce Lee show up was great. I just wish he had more screen time than just the one panel.
I think it's fair to say he's a little bit memed out. Like, you know, like if you had to bring him into something, it's because it's like, oh, it's iconic, but it's not really remarkably telling much of the tale of his martial arts and like the Jeet Kune Do or whatever it's called, you know? Like at that point, it's just like, oh, you're here. All right, okay, bye. Thanks for making a cameo, you know?
Yeah, well, plus he was with the antagonist team, so that's part of it as well. To where like he had to lose because, you know, that's just how the story has to go.
Talk about that for a second, by the way. Like, I just remembered it was Team China, right? That's who had the Bruce Lee guy?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you think in the back burner they're going to get around to talking about those orphans, or those orphans just really fucked?
I don't think anything is going to happen. I think Nox he's more focused on other things right now, as we saw coming up, how he wants to, you know, his whole thing right now is he wants to get rid of humanity. I don't know. I think because other things happened, like he ended up fighting Mori and all them, that probably changed, I don't know, I guess his mind on things. Like he probably just forgot. I don't think we'll see China again, so that probably won't be brought back up.
I'm just going to assume the worst, to be honest with you. That's kind of like the progression of like the seriousness of this manga or manhwa. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I got you. It's like they're not really going to mention it again. I just thought about that now that we were talking about Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And his contractor and all that good stuff. Team Japan is definitely going to be making a more segue into the series. I don't think that's the last time they're going to be talking about that, because we saw they have three national treasures, three sacred national treasures. Mm-hmm. They have the Yada mirror, which that girl had, which from my recount broke. And then they have the Kusaragi sword, which is what the guy has. But I don't think that they discovered the third one. They also talked about, you know, the Vatican, because the Vatican was there too. And then they have like the Holy Chalice.
Yeah, the Holy Grail. Yeah.
It was a weird thing because, you know, when they were doing the whole little fighting sequence with Morihyu, that guy activated the Holy Grail. we thought that when he activated it, it was Morijin's energy because he was like saying, "Oh, like Morijin, like where's that energy coming from?"
He sensed the experiment from America. It wasn't because of the portal.
Oh, right. It wasn't. Oh, yeah. It was the Monkey King, right?
Yeah, the fake one.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, it was the guy who was injected with his DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
That shit was sad, man. I'm not gonna lie.
And Michael, right? I think that was his name.
Yeah, I think it was Michael. Yeah.
Tragic characters, dude.
That was an interesting story to add into here. The other governments from countries would try to experiment with borrowed power since it's not a well-known thing. And I don't know about you guys, but when I saw, Michael slowly becoming like the new Monkey King, like when we first saw him, I kept thinking, I'm like, why does he look like Mori's grandfather, like Taijin? He's got the same sideburns, hair color. I'm like, maybe there's something to that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but when they were still talking about Sim and Ryu, like the arc before,
yeah,
and we saw that he had the jacket, that he was part of Taijin's like little thing, and Ryu was a part of it too. So I'm wondering if there are more characters that are a part of like, what was it, his regiment? Just people that we still haven't been introduced yet that are like behind the scenes that like had other jobs or other missions or whatever the case was. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a character who was more or less similar or identical to him. I'm just going to throw this out there, like probably a shot in the dark, but I'm super sure that we're not far off from them encountering like more or less a secret relative of Taijin or Morijin. Right now, they're really super into like the whole copy thing. I think that something left field is that there's going to be a relative. I think somewhere in between there has to be something.
Yeah, I could see like a niece or nephew or like maybe even a brother that would show up. If anything, he could show up at any moment to help train Morijin or something like that. But real quick, to go back to the Vatican and the Japanese team, I thought it was a great addition for the manga or for the manhwa, because so far in all the tournaments, right, we've just seen hand-to-hand combat. We really haven't seen much like involving essentially magic being used in fights, like actually pulling out the Naruto symbols, and reading out of the Zatch Bell books, right? I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. A good way to change it up.
Look, I'm gonna keep saying it. This guy has really good taste, man. He's making a lot of really good moves.
Yeah. I'll say this too. I didn't know Midori from the Japan team was a lady.
I also felt the same way until we saw them in the bathhouse.
Yeah, because there was the part where she was healing Mira, and I'm just like, I guess Mira don't care, huh? So she's not covering anything up.
No, but I really liked her character. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like Japan. Like, yeah, when Homeboy pulled out his sword.
Dude, that guy was really cool. I think you said this earlier before I started reading it, Oscar, but I completely agree. Seeing a sword used like that, it's been a while, man. I really, really like that.
I am not that nervous for Daiwei. I think that
nah, dude,
Daiwei
he's gonna get fucked, man.
Oh no, bro! Don't. Okay, look. Let me tell you this. I think that what he lacked in borrowed power, he's about to make up for in genuine fighting. Like I think that he's about to be like, I
agree.
And it's gonna be like, all right, it's gonna be like a Yu-Gi-Oh match, bro. We're gonna get 2, maybe 3 chapters, kind of like 4 or 5 episodes in Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's only gonna be around episode 4, episode 5, where he pulls out the tactical. He pulls out that heart of the card mindset. He's like, all right, I got my strat. I got all the cards in my hand. Let me put this shit down. Let me set this card. Let me go have you fuck yourself. And then boom, bam. He's going to come through with the ultimate move. I think that we're really looking into his new Kyoshin karate, because now he understands the art of the ultimate, what the 4 dances lead up to and what the Blue Dragon is supposed to be. Because the Blue Dragon is not the ultimate move. The ultimate move is what follows the Blue Dragon. Right? And he didn't have a chance to do it that one time because that dude didn't let him do it to him.
I thought that part was funny. I'm not gonna let you charge up, man. No.
Nah, bro, this ain't that anime bullshit.
That I really liked him as a character. I really hope that there's more of him, I hope that he sticks around. That's what I really hope.
So did I miss something last arc of Daiwei just not being able to summon his dragon anymore, like his borrowed power?
No, so when he lost his eye, I think that had something to do with it.
Yeah, I think it's like the king also like inflicted some sort of seal on his power or some shit. I'm not gonna like, don't quote me, but like some bullshit like that would make sense, you know?
Yeah, because I was trying to think. I was like, yeah, I don't remember anything explicitly being like, oh, I can't use my power anymore. I feel like they might just bring that up later on, because what I found interesting was when he was trying to understand his martial art, you know, the other guy from Japan who's using the borrowed power person that Daiwei wanted to use, right? The master of that specific martial art. And he's just like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you're messing with my borrowed power. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I thought, like, because it made it sound like he was like trying to absorb it unintentionally.
No, he said he was communing with him.
Or communing,
so
yeah.
he's able to talk to him. But basically what I think it is he's able to basically resonate with him better and just become the better receptacle. So like he'll be like, oh, this, you know, this contract is this would be a weaker contract basically. Let me go make a contract with this guy. Like, we're more, you know, in sync. Maybe even direct contact, but I mean that would require him to go to the spirit world, I think, if the rules are correct. Like, I didn't really understand, because I'm not gonna lie, if that was the case, I didn't understand how the what was it, Q, the green-haired guy that smokes,
Yeah, with the Joker.
he's a direct contactor, and I didn't understand how he became one. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave this be, because I'm sure they're gonna talk more about it later. Because I remember when they have that fight with R, and he comes out and then he like summons, you know, the whole Jester Circus thing. That's when he says he's like a direct contact, if I remember correctly. So yeah, like that whole little thing is just like that. Like the intricacies of borrowed power is still very, very open. I say it's like a very broad thing, because I don't think it's gonna be pivotal for much longer with what's coming. I think that borrowed power might all, in fact, be like totally direct power. It might be rendered obsolete. Like, who knows what's going to happen once this thing takes off? Because I think 216 and onward, or wherever the fuck we're going to, you know, be covering next, is like already into like the war. I don't imagine that, you know, we're not going to try to use that cane as soon as they get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but with Daiwei specifically, this arc, yeah, it was good. I like the writing for him. Just the sort of reality kick in his face, this arc, you know, the whole fear of losing his other eye and feeling like he's useless in this team, right? Because I mentioned it a few times before. I'm like, how are these characters going to keep up with Mori-jin? And especially in this arc, right, when we saw Mori-Hugh fight with Nox, and he was getting ready to win that fight. And for them to say, like, oh, wow, like, I can't believe, like, you're stronger. And even, you know, the homeless guy later in this arc from the 6th, like, he's having a hard time with just a clone who's not even at the level he's supposed to be because of how far away he is from Mori. And we got the answer with Mira, right? As we saw in this arc, she was doing great the entire time. She got a lot stronger because she took a divine pellet without even knowing, which I forgot that happened.
I didn't even notice her doing it, honestly. I don't know if anybody else noticed.
No, I totally missed it. I feel like that was maybe in the last arc, though, and then it maybe just started kicking in.
But see, I remember, like, yeah, that's when she was getting healed, like, after they left the Sage Realm. And yeah, I don't think they mentioned it at all, because the only mention of the Divine Fruit was when they gave it to the old man from the 6, the nurse and the martial arts guy. They were like, oh yeah, here's some divine pellets that we found over there. But yeah, I guess it's just one of those things that he's just like, well, if I have to explain it, I might as well explain it now. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because she used that, she had Mori use that technique on her to amplify her power. But yeah, she was able to put in a lot of damage without even using her borrowed power most of the time. You know, when she pulled it out, a lot of people were like, wait, you are a borrowed power user? I thought you were a genuine fighter. So I could see her keeping up pretty nicely. Yeah, but for Daiwei, yeah, this arc definitely emphasized that, like, what are you going to do? And then with the thing over his head of like, oh, he's fated to die during the world tournament. I think that's gonna be a big thing, especially since he has this relationship with the king, how he keeps visiting him. I'm leaning more towards to what you said last time, Oscar, about like, oh, it has to be something with that guy from the flashbacks that looks just like Daiwi.
And I hate to say it. Actually, no, I don't hate to say it, but I would hate to be uncertain of it as I say it. But I think that in this arc, we're gonna see basically the replacement of what his eye is. And I'm not gonna bullshit you. Adam, I think you might get a kick out of this. I am almost 60% sure it's gonna be like a feng shui engine. Like the thing that Jury has from fucking Street Fighter 4.
Dude, he's not going to be Seth, bro. He's not going to be Jury. Stop. But I definitely could see that happening. I really could see it happening, though.
I just think it makes sense with like the whole Kyoshin karate, and he's gonna be like doing some yin yang bullshit. Like I can smell the tropes, dude. I can just smell them all.
Yeah. Hey, like Adam said, he's got good taste, right? When it comes to what he's referencing. Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, in this arc, the author proves again how well he could craft a like final fight for an arc and how intense things can get. When we get Dante coming in here from Nox, right? The essentially the clones of the king, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
those are his clones, right? And then just having him fight with Mori and everybody else like coming in trying to stop this guy was really great stuff. Like the choreography is always on point, and just the way he likes to draw the expressions in characters when things kind of get desperate is like it's very shonen, and he could really pull it off well.
I like the personality that last Dante had. It was really cool. Like, I don't think that we're going to have the same personalities each time. And I'm thinking they're going to throw a curveball, and we're even going to probably have one good Dante. Probably just one. And he's not even going to be one I call Dante. Like I said, they're throwing a lot of, like, tropes and, like, intricacies about, like, copies and personalities and clones and, like, I'm not gonna bullshit you, and I know this is really sideways, but I've been watching a lot of Venture Brothers, and like this to me is like the whole trope of the entire series of like just them coping with the fact that they know that they're clones and that they don't have any more of them. You know what I mean? Like that's it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like yeah, like I've like just from what I'm seeing, it's like I can see it go so many ways. I don't really think that any of my predictions are right. I'm just really now like developing the series as more than what we said it was originally. Double checking myself on the first episode. I was like, this is like a King of Fighters type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really getting like all these like these tropes and like little like mind flashbacks of like fighting games and like all this other stuff. And now this is really its own original thing. Like I have like all of this what I would say is like this recollection of like its own genuine backstory of Origok, whatever the planet, however you pronounce it, you know, of like the Monkey King's backstory and Taijin's backstory, the characters that I've come to like see grow into the series. Like now that it's its own thing and I've separated just from what I stereotyped it to be, like I'm like, you know, pushing it up on another pedestal altogether. And it's high up there. Like this is really good. I don't think that anywhere it goes from this point can be bad. They can't make a wrong move at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever kind of move they're gonna make with anybody's story can only get better. That's how I feel like we're at right now when it comes to this arc. What it has me set up for this next arc that we're going into.
Yeah, going back to what you said about it being its own thing, especially when we saw what Mori Jin's been doing on that side, right, in the Sage Realm, and how, because at first I thought, I'm like, okay, it's just like where the monkey place is at, but it didn't really hit me until this arc was like, oh yeah, I guess it's like everybody's here, all the gods, I guess, are here, and the beasts, and just to see him explore like essentially the space of it, I definitely wasn't expecting that. Yeah, it was cool. And it made me think on like, yeah, this makes like this kind of space looks like it would house everything. You know, this is where Kratos went at the end of God of War 3, you know, before he hopped into Midgard. Everybody's hanging out here. And that's cool, you know, and especially like them kind of adding their own, his own mix into it with like, oh, where, you know, he's trying to find Iplo Park, and he has to go down into these chambers, and then like seeing like his own designs for what his gods would be for this world was great too. I want to say next arc, probably during like a climax section, is when we'll see Mori show up to stop something going down, like towards like the climax of like, oh, like the tournament went wrong and Nox is, you know, moving stuff ahead of plans. So I think that'll happen. We got a lot of teases of Daiwei essentially going blind in his other eye. There's like really no mention of why that's happening. You know, maybe he just got too much damage during these fights while trying to protect his only eye. And maybe that's just like his head is, you know, getting hazy. But yeah, if he gets blind in that eye, then yeah, he'll probably get that jury bullshit coming in during the middle of a fight.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm calling you, dude. It's just I got some feng shui engine shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if you ever got super far into the Battle Angel Alita series, like at least to probably book 2, like series 2.
Yeah, I haven't started the second one yet.
Okay, so I'm not gonna spoil much for you, but like there's a certain character that gets brought up from discussion. Like one of the main antagonists is just like a master of karate. And there's only one other person that can match him, and that was his like brother, like not his literal brother, but like his brother in training. So he learned like the complete opposite, like kind of karate or whatever. And it literally, I shit you not, it's fishman karate. It's like that 1-inch punch type shit,
Yeah.
and it's like all I can specifically remember the move. It was called the Big Bang Punch, and it was just like a antimatter black hole thing. So like I remember like there were like shooting like some sort of nuke or like super like unsurmountable force of energy towards like it, and he just does the 1-inch punch black hole thing, and it like absorbs all of this energy and like reverses it and like just like eliminates an entire universe. But that's like a whole other thing. But like my point is, I can like foresee like some fishman karate type shit like going on with what he's about to do with Dawei and this feng shui engine. Like Kyoshin karate just kind of has that ability to be anything it wants to be, including like I want to say Jeet Kune Do, like what we just witnessed with Bruce Lee, what Bruce Lee could have showcased, you know, almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that, and I think it would fit with him for fishman karate, right? Because he was using water for his borrowed power. Excuse me. I'm hoping because you know one of the B-side stories here was with our boys Iplo and his complicated Korean name, Bat Boy. You know, Billy Bat.
Let's call him Bake.
Bake, yeah, Bake the Bat. Yeah, he you know, they're trying to find the real Mori, and then the king intervened and kidnapped Uma, which was crazy because I was like,
yeah, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, I kind of felt like Uma was like a stand essentially now, since like her physical body's sort of gone.
Yeah, she's like dead, right? But let me ask you this. When he took her, does that mean that he took the horn? Like, doesn't the horn still stay on Bach?
Yeah, I wonder,
right?
Because that's part of the power. And I don't know if there's like a range thing with that, right? Or like because he took her, like he lost a contract. I don't know, but he still has the scar in his cheek, so I think they're still connected.
I'm thinking 2 things could possibly happen with that. I'm thinking 1, he can still use the power, but she just won't come to him. Mm-hmm. Like she's just like magically spellbound or trapped or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Or 2, because she's like away from him, that he can't use the power at all. You know, either one of those 2 things.
So I'm curious because we didn't get much detail with him. Like he only mentioned that the king showed up, fucked everything up, right? Right before he left with Uma. She said, "You know, you'll be able to find my brother. He's out there somewhere."
No, I thought she was referring to Mori.
She was.
She said that.
Oh, okay.
I thought, yeah, she's not like, yeah, because remember Awu means brother. You know, like, and like all the other kings, she calls Awu.
Oh, okay. Because I was going the direction of, maybe, because if he did hear that, like if he did see her and had that conversation, that he would try to find him. And so that way he could get his help and get his power kind of thing. But if not, yeah, I feel like he'll try to infiltrate Nox and then try to save Uma from there. Probably with, that's probably what will happen once Mori comes back with Iplo. Maybe those three will go to the Nox base while like underground, while Mori Hugh and everybody else is like above ground dealing with whatever's happening there.
Oh, true. Very true.
You know what I really like to see in this arc, though? Is some more Pandora. And I want to know if her power seal works on the king.
I don't think it would. I think it would probably like have an effect, but that effect would like disperse almost immediately.
Yeah, because we still don't know what his power really is, right?
I mean, he's got some gravity thing going on, some psycho.
Yeah, because I know he probably like unlocked the taboo that humans have, right? That's why he could hurt Uma and like other gods like Mori.
So he's a non-human being. That's one thing that they made clear, because they showed his like little background where he was younger and he met the Monkey King before the Monkey King got reincarnated.
Right.
Right, like he was looking at him fight the Buddha. That's when they were like introducing the whole arc. You know, like when the Monkey King was fighting the Buddha, and then he killed the Buddha. The king, the younger king, he was watching it the whole time. You know what I mean? And he was like, I could kill you at this time right now. And he's just like, but at the same time, he's just like, you're the only one that could make trouble for me, you know? So I had to like watch myself, you know, blah, blah, blah. I think that gravity is a hint. I don't think that it's exactly gravity. I think it's more or less that he has like control over the universe. Like I think his name has a bearing to it, if that makes sense.
No,
he's
like
not
specifically the king, right? Not just king.
Like no bullshit. The king of the cosmos. It's like on some Katamari shit. Like he can just do what he wants and whatever he can and will with the universe. You know what I mean? That's how like it makes sense to me. Considering that he can like, you know, kind of, you know, be everywhere at once and like do this and that, you know, if I remember correctly, they already explained what Nox's power was. Nox's power was also a borrowed contract, but from like one of the angels that died already, right? It was like, one of the archangels. I want to say Michael or something like that, or like Malphasis, or I don't know. I don't remember though, but I remember like that in this chapter they had just recently showed that battle again, and then that corpse, you know, being cut in half or flying down or whatever the fuck, you know. So I thought from there I was able to distinguish, oh, this and that are not the same thing. Like what the king can do and what Nox can do are not the same power. This is in his own separate power. You know what I mean? Giant swords out of the sky are just like ads from what I can understand at this point. They're just ads throwing swords into the earth. You know, that's basically what his power is. Shit. Honestly, the only thing that I'm really looking forward to is I really want to know if Mira's gonna stick with her sword or not. I think no bullshit, she probably is. And she probably has to rediscover her sword. Like, just as the guy really mentioned, he really, like, put an emphasis on it. He's just like, you have to go through all the weapons to find out that the sword is really the one for you. He said that there was a difference between going through all the weapons and then rediscovering the same weapon, between saying that you only have one weapon and not trying them at all. You know what I mean? And I really want to see, like, I don't know if you felt anything like this, Adam, but when I saw her like towards the end, like around 2:15 or 2:16 it was, and like she's like getting compliments from Daiwei, and she's got like that huge case full of like weapons with her, I was like, this is like reminding me of Firion. It reminds me of Gilgamesh. It reminds me of like every character that uses like multi-weapons, like from Final Fantasy. It even reminds me closer of like the guy from Trigun, Danny, the guy with the cross. You know, like he has the multi guns. Yeah, Wolfwood. Like just kind of like characters like that. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like, oh, okay, like this is gonna be the arc where I'm really gonna see you post some bullshit. Like you're gonna do some 10-10 on shit on me, and like you're just gonna be really good at it. You know, you're just gonna be really good at it, and like 10-10. You know. So I'm really looking forward to that. I really want to see what weapons she's like really good with.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
excited to look at that too.
maybe like she will adapt like the Wolf. What is it? Wolfgang, right? I think they changed the name of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's Wolfgang. It's Wolf something. Yeah.
Well, Wolf something, whatever it is. The store because originally it was called Moonlight, right? Moonlight something.
Yeah, I think.
So
yeah, I
yeah,
think
whatever.
so.
I think that she'll adapt a new weapon or something closer to a sword. You know, like maybe like a dagger or like a dagger and a sword or like whatever the fuck. And then she's just gonna adapt some new moves to it. I think that maybe the author read some a little bit of some D. Grayman. And like that one swordsman from D. Grayman, remember he's like always making up his new moves or whatever. Like just from like whatever kind of
Kanda.
situation. Kanda, yeah, there you go. See?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Remember
You're
it?
right, Oscar. Yeah, it's Wolf. It's Wolg Gang. It's close to
Wolfgang.
Wolfgang. Yeah, but it is Moonlight sword style. I'll tell you this though, when it comes to Mira, one thing I do want to see is how like different she's going to change. Because as we saw in this arc that was sprinkled about was she's taking advice from, she's probably related to that guy in Nox that's also using the same sword style. She just doesn't know it yet, right? But to where he's like, oh, you have to become a monster. So she starts fighting essentially dirty, right? Like we saw her grabbing the fingers of the guy in Japan with the Kusanagi sword. And then like her just doing stuff that she wouldn't normally do. That's not like, I guess you would say that isn't honorable in swordsmanship, but I think she's going to be doing that a lot more because, you know, she has the big fear of losing Daiwi. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but I'm pretty sure it was apparent in one of the chapters where like the filler chapter where they played soccer, right? Like you could tell like she caught the feels for Daiwi, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had that little blush in the panels.
Yeah. So I think she caught the feels. And she'll probably act more desperate and turning more into a monster, quote unquote, by fighting like that. And I think Daiwi probably will say something, right? Because he's just like, this isn't you kind of thing. And then, you know, whatever happens in this arc coming up with him, you know? Yeah.
Fucking love Mira though. She's like, okay, she's honestly right now, she's definitely my favorite character. Like, no bullshit. Like Mori Jin is pretty much already peaked. Peaked like in high school, basically. You know, like he's already like, all right, you're already cool. Like I'm not even gonna see you do anything more cooler for a while.
I get it, bro. You're wearing your varsity jersey again. We get it, man. Yeah. But you're right though, because I think you mentioned it last time to where it's like she sort of had like the Nami role for a while in the series. But now she's just like, actually, I could step up to the plate too and actually deal some damage, which is great for her character, right? Because we just can't really have her on the sidelines all the time.
What do you think is gonna happen to Iplo? Iplo.
I think he's probably fine. I think we'll see more of the Fox for sure, right? Because we're gonna assume that Iplo's like in a near death state after that wound he got from the king. So I feel like he'll be talking to the Fox again, and you know he's going to try to make another deal with him.
Let me ask you a couple questions about that before we talk too much about God of High School. So, okay, question number 1: when they found his body, it was chained to the wall in Oragok, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So Oragok blew up. Yeah. So question number 2: when they actually talk about the scale of the Earth and the universe, does that mean that the Earth is bigger than Oragok? Because if I remember correctly, when Iplo was talking to the Fox was like, okay, so my soul was scattered. You got to look for these keys. Go do your thing. You can use my power for direct contact. But I don't think he specified if they were scattered among the universe or if they were scattered among Oragok. Because then again, Oragok blew up.
That's a good point.
I mean, we don't really know where Iplo got the first key, right? I'm assuming it was on Earth.
He was like, no, he got the key because when Tagal Jock took the key out of him, before he like shattered the key, or actually after he shattered the key, a couple of pieces, 3 pieces stayed behind, and Iplo had them, and they all combined into one piece. And that cohesive piece was how basically the fox found him. It was just like, oh, that's basically how he didn't dissipate right then and there, because the fox was explaining, oh, my soul shattered instantly, so I should have died. But because you just so happened to have had 3 pieces on you and they formed into one cohesive piece, like I was able to retain my form, like, and I was able to like have you communicate with me to come over here, basically. He's like, you're the only one that can restore my soul, and blah blah blah. So go do that, basically.
I'm willing to bet the fox is probably down there where Iplo is, right where he got carried. If he, because he would have had to escape at that point, right? Once the planet blew up. So I can imagine him being there, and then Mori would probably have to maybe fight him or something. I wonder how much we're gonna get with Mori's end in that world versus the world tournament that's gonna be coming up. Because as we saw towards the end of the chapter, right? I believe we saw a lot more characters that they teased off, and knowing how this usually works for the series is we're going to get a lot of time with them during the fights. So I wonder how much we're going to see with Iplo and Mori. So how I mentioned, I was like, in the beginning, I was like, oh, maybe he is a double agent for Mugen Park, right? Like that's what I thought. But then when we saw him fight Q and everyone else, when he showed off that, like, yeah, I have 2 powers, I was like, oh, I guess he really isn't being a double agent. But then in this arc, when Mugen, in the flashback that R had with Mugen, and how he was just like, you owe your life to me, basically, is what he said. I'm like, oh, maybe he is a double agent. I don't know. That's what I'm interested in, to see what he's going to be doing. I can't wait for the rematch with him and R, though. I think that's going to be great. Yeah, so solid arc here for God of High School. Still not disappointing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what we're going to see at the end here. We saw, I forget which team he was on. But yeah, he's got his borrowed power is Hercules. And like, God, Hercules' design looks great. It's not at all what I would expect for Hercules to look like here.
He reminded me of like a Bloodborne character. I think he's really got like that wrath thing going on. Because this kid is really spiteful, I can tell. He's definitely been neglected at home. He's got braces on, so I feel like he grinds his teeth at night. Like, he doesn't get a lot.
Yeah, man. Cool stuff. But let's get into this Lookism over here. We're starting the new arc with Jake Kim. And I thought it was going to be him after he was released, but it's actually a flashback story right now, which I thought was good too. Seeing how Jake Kim came to be. A lot of stuff in here I wasn't expecting. And just seeing how the last chapter ended was pretty hyped to see next week.
I feel like this flashback is really important, though, because we have Samuel in here, and then just the way that he left out in the last arc, I'm like, okay, with J. Kim coming out of jail and then Samuel now doing his own thing, like, I can see this rematch happening again.
Oh, like in present day? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I want to see how this story plays out, because as we saw at the end, yeah, J. Kim does not want to be part of Big Deal. He is, though, right? Like, before he went to juvie, like, he was part of Big Deal. Yeah, so I want to see how that came to be.
That's not really going to be until they get more closer towards him. I think a lot of Lookism's main, I think for me at least, the main attention grabbing isn't really the not cohesive, that's not the right word. Like the patriarchal like bosses that they have. Not like the people that they look up to, but it's the actual followers themselves. Like, not to be like, really picky or really, really biased, but I'm really more interested in I forgot what the super big bald guy's name is. Jerry
Kwan.
Jerry Kwan, yeah.
That's the fucking boy, man. That's the boy.
I could give 2 fucks about Jake Kim and his little scarred, no teeth having ass. But my boy Jerry.
I just love how he came in at the end on his bike. it's so Jerry Quan.
It really is. That I think that was my favorite part of this chapter. But I still want more of their backstory. Like how did Jerry come to be Jerry? You know?
Yeah, I would like to see that here. Because we got a little backstory of like these other two guys that follow Jake around, you know, and how like they joined him. And I think in this flashback, like Jerry just showed up. Like I know we know a little bit about him, when like he first showed up, but yeah, I would like to see more. Like maybe like another flashback in here when him and Jake were younger. That would be cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like these two chapters were all really just set up for what we're gonna check out here. As we see at the end, it's, you know, Samuel pretty much brought all the high schools in, so that way they could just either witness Jake get his ass beat or just beat Jake's ass if he beats Samuel or something. So yeah, this fight I'm looking forward to, especially with Jerry showing up. I wonder what he's going to be doing. So I'm ready for next chapter, man. I want to see. I hope the fight's next chapter because I feel like there could be some more exposition before we lead up to this big fight with Jake and Samuel. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about this arc.
It's kind of hard when you know, we normally just go about it like every 1 or every 2 weeks. So the updates that we can do towards this is kind of small. But I mean, to be fair, the content that they put in per chapter is a lot. You know, it's a lot. But we pretty much overlook a lot of it because mostly you have to be caught up at this point for us to really want to delve into that, because, you know, one thing explains another thing that kind of explains another thing, and it's a domino effect that comes from the very beginning of the series. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like when we update Lookism, it's not as though we're not trying to fill you in on everything that the content in the chapter has to offer, but it's more or less having to, you know, go into those things over and over again and, you know, bring up these past and certain events. It's just, it's in a way, it's bad storytelling is the way I would say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a slow build up for what's to come.
But that's usually how the arcs go, though. I mean, there's always a slow build up at the beginning of each arc. That's just the Lookism trait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel like later down the line, we'll probably get a lot more content coming in as we explore more of Big Deal coming in to recruit Jake and Samuel. We'll probably see more of that. Probably see a younger Gun and Goo, maybe. Yeah, again, not much to say like we're saying, but 4 more chapters, I could see it really kicking off. Because like you're saying, Adam, this is like the usual route for Lookism. But yeah, I think with that, I guess it's safe to say we can go ahead and wrap up this episode here. Thanks for swinging by, guys. Remember, you could always follow us on social media at unversedpodcast anywhere you go. Let you know when the latest episodes drop. And then you could send us an email, unversedpodcast@gmail.com. Let you, if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to talk about it on the next episode. So thanks, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.